Everybody, welcome. I'm so excited to be back here. It's been a while since we've done one of these Q&A sessions. In case you aren't aware, we are Go Cloud Careers and Go Cloud Architects. We welcome you here for our Cloud Career Q&A. We want to help you build your best cloud career and help you get your first cloud architect job. Our solution architect job, or any cloud job that you might want, but we definitely specialize in the cloud architect roles. So our goal is to help you build an elite, high-paying career. We're experts at helping you get hired and promoted or rehired after a layoff. So that's what we're here for. We're here to take your questions, answer your questions, and help you on your way to becoming cloud hired or cloud promoted. So as you see, I am Chris Johnson. This is Alonzo Coleman, and that's Mike Gibbs. I feel like the Brady Bunch.
Which way does it go?
Yeah. And so if you've been on our previous Cloud Career Q&A sessions, you know, it normally looks like that. But today you get Alonzo and I along with Mike. Mike has been doing a little too much talking the past year and a half. Or 25 years, whichever one you want to look at. So he's unfortunately he's had some vocal strain, which led to some laryngitis, and so we're getting him over that and supplementing his voice with our voice. All the same knowledge, all the same expertise, all the same information, but we're here to supplement Mike. So before we get started, I do want to make you aware of some things that we do here at Go Cloud Careers. So every Thursday, we have a free How to Get Your First Cloud Job webinar. And this webinar is hosted by Mike and our team. And we go through everything that you would need to know to get your first cloud job, regardless of your experience level. We go over what hiring managers want. We go over how to deal with HR and the crazy job descriptions. And then we tell you exactly what a cloud architect is, because there's a lot of confusion out there about what actually a cloud architect is and does. So that is our free How to Get Your First Cloud Job webinar, or I think we're in the midst of rebranding it, How to Become the Ultimate Cloud Architect. I need to get a big booming announcer voice for that. But but yeah, so make sure to register for that in the chat box or in the description. And our next one will be this Thursday. So we look forward to seeing you there. Next, I want to make sure that you are aware of our free updated AWS exam guide for both the associate and professional exams. This is, I think, our third iteration of this exam guide. So we just released that last month for the updated versions of the AWS exams. So definitely want to make sure that you get the link to that. Let me find it here, and I'll put that in the chat box as well. So over 100 people, 100 technology professionals with hundreds of years of experience worked to put this book together. So this is definitely a free resource that you want to make sure that you get. So I put that link there in the chat box as well. Of course, always want to make sure that we follow us on LinkedIn. We're always updating everybody about everything that we're doing on LinkedIn. So make sure to follow Mike on LinkedIn. That's the quickest way that we get information out to everybody. If we're doing something, if we have something, if something's coming up, it's going to be on LinkedIn. So make sure you follow Mike on LinkedIn for anything and everything that we might do. And of course, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell here on YouTube as well. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Alonzo Coleman.
Well, I'll take that, Chris. Awesome. Everyone, thank you so much for having us and taking the time out of your busy schedules to review us from Arizona to Amsterdam, from Frisco to France. I know you all are here. You all have been watching us. You all have been hopefully getting a lot of information about cloud architecture, about the cloud career program, about being the best, having the best cloud career ever. And it's just really great to be here with you. As Mike continues to rest up and continues to get stronger in his voice, I will continue to channel my inner Mike to be able to support him and also share my knowledge as well as my resources in helping you all get your questions answered, get more involved with your Go Cloud career community, and also just being able to just help with any concerns or questions that you have right now. So I'm really here. I'm always here with you guys. I'm always here to support you guys, whether you are part of our Go Cloud career community or not. My goal is to help you transition into becoming a student as well. And hopefully I might be able to have personal conversations with you, get an email from you, or any other type of correspondence so that you may understand who we are, what we do, how passionate we are about getting you and transforming you into a cloud architect professional. So I'm here for any questions you have. I'm going to also be answering any questions and reading off any questions that you have in our chat. So don't be shy. Don't be hesitant to respond to any type of questions that you might have. Lay them out for us. Share what you have. Let's start a discussion up and let's get going. So I'm going to pass this baton off to Mike, but everyone remember to get that hashtag save your voice, Mike. I'm going to be his voice for the majority of the time, but when he has any opportunity to speak or he really wants to get engaged with any technological questions, again, ask them. We'll reiterate them verbally once we see them across the screen, and we're going to be here to answer anything that you have. So I'm going to pass the time off to Mike. Mike Gibbs, what do you have for us today, sir?
I am here to answer anyone's questions. So bring us your questions. Crystal will bring them on screen, or Alonzo will read them out. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may desire. So who has the first question?
And also, I might want to reiterate as well, we're going to, because of Mike and his voice and wanting to maintain his health and overall strength, we're going to be limiting this particular Q&A to 60 minutes. That's just 1 hour. So please ask away, but we will be ensuring that Mike maintains his health as well today. So let's hear him. All right, X Marty live. I want to learn about cloud computing. How should I start? Start here. But also let's keep in mind that Go Cloud Careers, we have an extensive video library. Please subscribe right here on YouTube. We have everything that you need to get an understanding of what cloud architecture is, cloud tech, what it is, what you do, and when you would use it. But we'd also love to hear about getting your cloud architecture career up and running by providing you with extensive, well-rounded, deep, comprehensive learning about what cloud architecture is. So give us a like, reach out to us at info@gocloudcareers.net. Go to our website at gocloudcareers.com, get an understanding of who we are and what we do. And hopefully we might be able to answer your questions and get you signed up and get you a part of the Go Cloud Careers community, where you're going to learn everything that you need to know about being a cloud architect. So I hope that answers your question.
So X Marty Live, let me take this question over and give you a little more. So the biggest question I have is, what would you like to do? That's where you should get started. You know, it really doesn't matter what your past is. And I'm going to pop 4 videos. I could give you 400 videos of people that have had zero background, whose first job is as a cloud architect with the right training. So, and I'm going to pop in some over here. None of these folks ever worked in tech. One of them didn't even graduate high school and was hired by the world's largest bank as a cloud architect after completing our program. One of them was a geologist. He was the closest person we've actually ever seen to tech in this bunch that I'm going to send you. So the real key is, what do you want to do, X Marty Live? You want to be a solution architect, we could train you to be a solution architect. Now, you could also choose to be a cloud engineer, which I don't recommend right now. I expect we're going to see massive layoffs in the cloud engineering space and the software engineering space very soon. And we feel so strongly again about what's going to be happening in these cost center roles that we're not even training cloud engineers right now. Right. And we have no plans to do so anywhere in the future, because here's what happens in a bad economy. Employers continue to hire people that bring in money. I'm a sales rep, I'm a cloud architect. Here's what I do. I go meet with the client, I design their systems and bring in $1 billion to the company. Now, it has to get built by an engineer somewhere. Now, I want you to think about this. Who do you hire when you have to lay off people? Companies are struggling to survive right now. Employee productivity is the lowest it's been in ages. What's going to happen are as follows. They're going to be laying off engineers, rehiring them for 5 to 10% of what they're being paid in developing nations. And that's okay. That's part of what happens. In fact, you can already see the employers reaching out to people. Hey, architects, what can you do? The economy is getting bad. How can we remove some of the people we have in this? What can we automate? So, you have to pick the job that's going to make you happy. A cloud architect like me designs a solution for a customer. And I'm going to tell you, XMarty Live right now, it's easier to become a cloud architect than a cloud engineer. Despite it paying 30 to 50% better, it's easier to become a cloud architect than a cloud engineer because there's less tech to learn. See, as an architect, and I'm going to give you the roles, you know what to do. We're kind of business executives. We design a solution, present a solution, and sell the solution back to the customer. So for the architect, it's about your communication skills, your CXO relevancy, your leadership skills, your sales skills, your emotional intelligence, and then your knowledge of the technology systems that are there. So for me personally, I love the cloud architect role. And here's the reason why. I left engineering, moved into an architect role. It gave me double the pay for half of the work. That's me. I'd rather talk about a solution and design a solution, but then actually build the solution. Now, the cloud engineer roles are a hands-on role. It's a technical role. It's the exact opposite of the architect. And if you wanted to be a cloud engineer, you're going to need to become a Linux master because cloud engineers touch the tech where cloud architects do not. If you want to be a cloud engineer, you're going to need to develop Python skills. If you want to be a cloud engineer, you're going to have to get real good with infrastructure as code. You're going to have to get real good at scripting things, for example, with Python as well as Bash shell scripting. Kind of keep those things in the back of your mind. And, a cloud engineer is a hands-on role. There's another type of engineer called the DevOps engineer, which is a totally different career. So XMarty Live, the question I have for you is, what would you like to do? You tell me what you'd like to do, and then we can tell you how to get there. But it's completely related to what you would like to do.
All right, Mike, in the interest of conserving your voice, I think that's a very well-rounded and strong answer. All right, everyone, don't be shy. Let's go. Okay, Dizzy Wallow, it's our pleasure to be here. It's our pleasure to showcase all the knowledge that we have, be able to get you ramped up and geared up for your cloud development, or rather your cloud career. And if there's anything that we can do to answer and further move you down the path of success, then that's what we're here for.
Reese, is it true that AWS 8 interns completing degrees? Reese, here's the difference between an intern and getting hired. We've gotten lots.
We broke the rules.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. All right. Let's try this again. I'm gonna bring out the buzzer next time.
I got the phone. We already on the Reese. Okay, Mike, I will answer the questions. Let's make sure, or say the questions and you answer. Okay. Now, Reese, is it true that AWS only takes interns completing degrees? We got to stay on mic about this.
Okay, so Reese, to get an internship, yes, you must have a college degree. To get hired, you do not. So what goes on is organizations take interns, and it's very expensive to run an internship because you've got to dedicate people towards teaching the internship. So to get an internship, sure, you need to be hired. You need a college degree. Now, to actually get hired as a cloud architect, you don't by any stretch of the imagination. Ivan Tamba got hired by AWS before he graduated college. I can give you a list of people, but Daniel Bosu got hired by JP Morgan Chase, and he didn't even finish high school. Mm-hmm. Delroy Bad, who you'll hear from tomorrow, has an associate degree. Now, Reeves, here's the thing. AWS is not going to be doing any internships for a long period of time. Joe Millen is another one. Jawad is another one. I could give you person after person that we've gotten hired. But internships, and AWS isn't going to be giving any internships. I suspect we're going to see some pretty big layoffs coming from AWS. It's questionable. But there's some rumors out there. There's some layoffs. I don't know if it's going to occur or not. I haven't spoken to any executives at AWS about it yet. But I don't assume you're going to see any internships with anybody. Interns cost people money. Companies do internships when somebody has a college degree to hope to train people for the future. At this point, they don't need to train anybody for the future. They're only going to be looking for people that are extremely capable, like the kind of people we train. Only. Because what happens is the economy's bad. If I hire someone new that doesn't really have it, then I've got a dedicated $200,000-$300,000 person, a year person to go teach them. In today's world, we're in a recession. Layoffs are occurring. We have students getting hired still because we train them in a very specific way. But you definitely won't find yourself getting an internship right now. So I would try to not focus on an internship. I focus on being the best, whatever I choose to be and whatever my career is, and then you'll get there.
Okay. What's the difference between an AWS technical practitioner versus an AWS solutions architect associate?
Now, Reese, truth be told, neither one is reality. There's no such thing as an AWS solution architect associate or an AWS technical practitioner. There is a cloud practitioner, which is a certification, and there's a solution architect associate, which is a certification. It's the name of an AWS certification, which teaches you the name of a service and how to configure it. By itself, it's not enough for anything. It's not enough for engineering, and it's not enough for architecture. They're just certifications.
Tyrone, it's great to see you. Save your voice, Mike. Manny agrees. So we're going to keep it nice and tight. Hello, Daniel. It's good to see you. Good morning to you, Manny. I'm not sure where you are, but I'll take that as well. Aisha, why the requirement of cloud architect is more than the cloud engineer? And she wants to be an engineer.
So Aisha, I think it's much easier to become a cloud architect than a cloud engineer. I've gotten people hired far faster as an architect than I will as an engineer for double the sound. So, here's the key thing, Aisha. You got to do what you like, but it's not a different requirement. It's a completely different requirement. For example, as architects, we design, present, and sell. So the requirements are better communication skills, better leadership skills, better sales skills. For the engineer, it's all about your technical skills. So if you want to become a cloud engineer, it's going to be a lot more work because you're going to have to learn to code, which architects don't do. You're going to have to learn to configure, which architects don't do. You're going to have to learn how to script and automate. The key is, Aisha, you got to do what you love. That's the key, what you actually love. And I don't know what that is for you, but it's not harder to become an architect than an engineer. It's very hard for engineers to become architects because what happens is when you're an engineer, you're trained to code and configure and talk about tech. As an architect, you need to design it, present it, and sell it. So no, it's personally easier for me to get you hired as a cloud architect than as a cloud engineer. Much harder to get hired as a cloud engineer, much lower pay as a cloud engineer. But if you like sitting behind a desk, then cloud engineering is right for you. If you like designing, presenting, and selling, the architect is right for you. But that's up to you and what you choose to do. But it's not harder to become an architect than an engineer. Quite frankly, I find it easier.
Daniel Heron, hey, Mike, feel better with your voice. How should people who are trying to break into the cloud should feel about these recent mass layoffs and hiring freezes?
Daniel, I don't think you should be overly concerned about them because you're studying to be an architect. You also have an incredible attitude, energy, enthusiasm, and likability about you. So let's talk about who gets laid off versus who gets hired. I'm going to tell you right now that employers do not lay off their best and brightest. Every employee is stack ranked in every organization. And typically organizations have A players like Alonzo and Chris. They have B players, which are generic workers, and they have C players, which are not good. When a layoff occurs, employers lay off their C workers or their least capable ones, or they're the ones with the worst communication skills, worst attitude, or they lay off people that are in expense positions. Marketing costs a fortune, post-sales engineering, any of these positions where if you didn't have them for 6 months to a year, as long as you've got money coming in, the company can survive. And what happens in a recession or a layoff, you try and survive. So for your good architects like you, Daniel, the key is just being better. It's building your brand in the way we teach you how to build your brand. It's building your resume. It's posting things on LinkedIn. It's co-authoring books with us. Daniel, make sure you co-author the next book with us. We do. It's going out there and doing things, teaching others, helping others learn, build a name for yourself. The world comes for you. Even in a recession, I'll have people reach out to me multiple times per day and say, Mike, do you want a job? Constantly. And my students will consistently get hired as long as they're there. So the key is be better than the rest, Daniel. Be great. Show the world how great you are. When the world is out there saying, I got laid off, hire me. You know what they're not saying? They're not saying, I'm changing careers. Look at all the things I can do for your organization to make your organization more profitable. That's the difference between who gets hired and who gets laid off. The people that are there, that are working, for example, and making the company successful, they never get laid off. Daniel, I've never been laid off. And honestly, after coaching people for 20 years, I only had one person that ever got laid off. Now, he got laid off. He got a 6-figure severance package and a $300,000 job within a week. He was not very unhappy with his layoff. He called me up and he's like, Mike, is this the best thing ever happened to me? I got a $130,000 paycheck. I just bought a rental property with it, and now I got a $300,000 job. It was a raise. So the key is, Daniel, don't worry about it. Keep being better, being better, being better. Now, it may take a little longer to get hired, and companies will be more sophisticated in their interviewing, but you'll be great. Just be focusing on being great.
Well, don't be shy, everyone. Manny, our presentation skills, i.e. PowerPoint, etc., taught in cloud architecture development course? Absolutely, Manny. We focus on CXO relevancy skills. We teach you how to present. We teach you how to present to the right audience at the right time. A key example of this is that, say, for instance, you are a cloud architect and you're presenting to the person in charge of the money, the CEO, versus the CIO, Chief Information Officer, or Chief Technology Officer. We don't teach you how to use PowerPoint, but we teach you how to present. So those are two key different things that I wanted to share with you. So if you're a cloud architect and you're trying to present, the CEO, he does not care about the tech. He doesn't. He cares about business transformation. He cares about how is he going to be a key competitor? How is he going to be able to benchmark with his competitors? How is he going to be able to increase market share? How is he going to be able to transform his business internally as well as externally? And presenting how that tech is going to transform and meet those key needs for the organization is how we teach them how to compete. Versus, say, for instance, you're talking to a chief technology officer. They're more involved with the transformation as well, but they may be a little bit more interested in the technology themselves. So understanding who you're going to be speaking with, how to speak to them, and how to engage with them so that you can get them to understand what the benefits are, what the opportunity costs will be if they don't decide on this architecture, and the overall understanding of what this architecture can do in the absence thereof is how you're going to be taught how to as a cloud architect. So understanding the tech is just a part of it. Being able to present is just a part of it. But you're going to learn that here, but you're also going to learn how to design that as well. So hope you understand that.
And Manny, we're also going to teach you the right way to present. For example, if you delivered a presentation by reading your presentation slides as an architect, unfortunately, you would lose your position that first day and your replacement would thank you for the nice job. So it's a matter of knowing how to write the right kind of PowerPoint slides to cue you with what to say, but also teach you how to present. Present with the executive presence, present to the right audience. We teach all that you need to do every component of the architect job. And that's why our program has over 500 hours of training in it. It's not a simple certification program. This is how do you build an elite technology career as an architect? And we're going to make sure you know from the alpha to the omega, A to Z, all the way through.
Reese, how does one get experience if you want 4 years experience first? Well, I tell you, experience is great, but competency is going to be better. It doesn't matter how long you're able to do something, but if you're doing 21 years of experience incorrectly or inefficiently or without competency versus someone who has been through the program for 16 weeks, maybe more, and you're able to showcase more competency, I'm going to bet on that horse and say the one with the competency is going to be the one that's hired. So being able to showcase the tech, what you know about the tech, how the tech works, and when you would use it is going to have a far more impression on the hiring manager than someone who's been dabbling in or experienced or has a long trail of experience about tech that they only know a little bit about. Here we focus on how you're able to increase your competency, how you're able to communicate that competency in the form of architecture, and just in understanding that experience is just a placeholder against competency. So understanding that experience is great, but having competency is better.
And Reese, I just popped 4 videos. There were 4 example students that we had that got hired as solution architects or cloud architects with 0 experience. There's not a job in the world that doesn't want 10 years of experience, whether it's help desk, whether it's the cashier at the local store, or whether it's working at McDonald's or Burger King. Every job wants 10 years of experience in a job description.
Yeah.
But what they're really looking for is, can you do the job or your competency? It is so rare to find somebody competent that with the right branding, we got our students hired with 0 experience every day. Every job wants experience, including help desk. But guess what? You need to be great at what you do, as opposed to lots of experience.
I gotta prosper. I just finished my AWS Cloud Practitioner certification and I want to be a cloud DevOps. What is the next step? Or agile DevOps, sir. In all honesty, we don't focus on DevOps, my friend. We don't focus on anything that creates automation, system administration, or anything else. We focus on cloud architecture, what it is, how we use it, and how we're able to design, present, and sell. So as an understanding, although we greatly appreciate, respect anyone who handles the cloud, the command line, we don't dabble in that. We don't focus on that. We're cloud architects. We design, present, and sell. And so although engineers are building it, we're the ones that are designing it. And so, you know, in all honesty, that is not our forte. That is not our focus.
It is not, but we have to tell you a few things. One is the cloud practitioner. It's a nice intro. It might be 1% of what you need. The first part of being a DevOps engineer is you must become a software developer first, because it's merging of software development with operations. So the first thing is become a programmer, and a good programmer first.
Yes. The
next component is to get familiar with all the DevOps tools, mostly off of the cloud. Jenkins, Spinnaker, there's a million and one of these tools.
Yeah.
Then after that, it's about learning the cloud DevOps things. Sandeep Das is a good friend. He teaches DevOps engineers, but I'll tell you that the DevOps professional certification might be 3% of what you actually need to become a DevOps engineer. What you need for these, you have to remember, these are professional careers. And certifications are good for junior intro level things like, here's how you click 4 boxes. But DevOps is a professional, cloud engineering is a professional, cloud architecture is a professional. And there's unfortunately 0 certifications that will get you hired on those alone.
Why are they freezing roles? Well, I'll tell you, because of the economic issues, the economic uncertainty, economic downturn, and it goes back to what Mike was referencing earlier on. When you think about the saturation of cloud engineers, and you have to think less about how many engineers there are within the United States, you're going to be competing with cloud engineers on a global scale. So when you think about the economies of scale against what the economy is doing and how the economy is reacting to a large surplus of cloud engineers, along with any of those tech spaces, then you think about they already have an amount and a large resource of a lot of what they are, a lot of cloud engineers. So having, they need to focus on how they're going to be able to manage that cost. And then you think about, against cloud engineers to cloud architects. Cloud architects, not only do they incur a salary, but they're also generating revenue for the organization. And then you thinking about cloud engineers, as wonderful as an engineer is, as wonderful and as needed as they are, they're still incurring a large salary. So you think about cloud architectures and cloud engineers, which are both incurring salaries. However, the cloud engineer is generating additional revenue for the organization against a large pool of cloud engineers. So when you think about the economies of scale of what's needed, it's going to be the cloud engineers that are going to have a reduction in force.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see massive engineering layoffs. We're starting to see it already. Twitter was losing $4 billion a day, so they did a massive layoff. I mean, 4 million a day. Otherwise, they go bankrupt and have to fire everybody. Facebook just did 12,000 because they lost, was it 10 or 15 or $20 billion this year? So it's either lay off or close Facebook. And then if Facebook closes, then they have to lay off all 87,000 employees. So organizations are right sizing for the economic recession. We've been teaching people how to plan for it for about 9 months. We told people which careers to pivot from. And that's why we stopped selling engineering training, because we want to give the people we have the most competitive advantage out there. And we don't want to take anybody into a training program where we don't feel good about their ability to get hired in the end. That's not who we are. Got lots of certification providers that are willing to say you anything. You'll spend a year's worth of your time, you'll pay, and you'll get nothing. That's not us. We want to know that you get hired, and that's why we do what we do.
Right. Yeah, we're not in it for the money. We're not in it to create some sort of cloud tech puppy mill, if you will, push you in and push you out the door. We really care about your career. We care about instilling you with the right technology, with the right competency, with the right skill set of tech presentation and just overall soft skill implementation. So making sure that we underscore that and we just in not good conscience can just take your money and push you out the door in an uncertain market with uncertain expectations that we don't know are going to last or not. So I hope we've been helpful, Reese. I know there are more questions out there. Mimio, I hope I'm pronouncing this here. Hi, Mimio here. From your course outline, I think the program is more AWS biased. How does one acquire the skills and knowledge in other cloud platforms?
I'm going to address this, Alonzo.
Okay.
We have nothing that's AWS biased. No. We have everything that's cloud biased.
Right.
If you study AWS and that's your concern, I promise you, you'll have no future. Here's the reason why. In order to design, present, and sell a solution, you must know all the technology. What do we architects do? We take the stuff from the network and the data center to move it to the cloud. So we teach the Azure Solutions Architect Expert, the AWS Solutions Architect Professional, which is junior level stuff. And then we teach senior level how to architect stuff. We even have you design and build your own cloud, which runs OpenStack. So we are completely vendor agnostic. Our students design on AWS, Google, Azure, and we don't have a single class where they don't design on multiple clouds. No customer that's serious is on a single cloud. 80% are on multiple clouds. That was before. Nearly all of them say they're migrating to multiple clouds. And many people are going back from the cloud to the data center in a hybrid cloud environment because they've learned the hard way. I mean, we advise people always never use a single cloud. But some of them put all their eggs in one basket because they hired a certified person that didn't know anything. And then AWS had outages, and they made up every excuse from an impaired network to power failures. Now, data centers don't have power failures, but Azure has had their outages, and Google's had their outages. Plus, customers realize, hey, wait, it's cheaper to run this in my data center and cheaper to run this in the cloud. Sometimes it's much cheaper to run things in the data center than the cloud. For example, we run our own cloud here, our own personal OpenStack cloud. And here's why we do it. I went to AWS and they wanted $11,000 per month to run our cloud that we use as our lab environment. I bought the servers for $10,000. So with AWS, it would be over $400,000 by the time you deal with charges and networking things. For us, it was 10 grand to build it ourselves, which is cheaper, 10 grand or 400 grand. But we have predictable demands. If we had web applications where auto-scaling would work out and make sense, and no, we don't have anything that's AWS biased. We teach all the skills. And look, these skills are coming from the network and the data center. If you don't know BGP, you can't design your WAN. BGP is not an AWS thing. It's not an Azure thing. It's a networking thing. If you don't understand next generation firewalls, you're going to be hacked on AWS or Azure. You're not going to be using their solutions. So we teach all of that in our program. And the reality is you could do the following. You could take our course and learn how to be hired, or you could learn about servers and server virtualization and container orchestration, block storage, object storage, file storage, VPN concentrators, next generation file systems. You could then learn BGP and OSPF and VLANs, VLAN tagging, VLAN trunking. You could learn about WAN technologies such as SSL VPNs, IPsec VPNs, software-defined networking, private lines, Ethernet over MPLS, and SASE. You could learn how to do your own IP address planning on your own. You could do your own switching training on your own. And then when you're done that, if you don't want to train with us, you could get an MBA for the business acumen. Of course, if you're with us, we'll teach you the business acumen, the CXO relevancy skills, the sales skills, the executive presence, the emotional intelligence, the leadership training, the presentation screening, and the negotiation training. Now, it costs me about $250,000 to learn those skills to be able to teach them. And you can get them anywhere you want. You could do an MBA, plus you could go to Global Knowledge and spend $20,000, $30,000 on the networking and data center training to do it. Or you could take ours, which is less than $1,000. Why is our course so cheap? For one reason. I know most people couldn't afford the $250,000 of training that I have, which is mostly paid for by employers and took me 25 years to develop. And I wanted everybody to get hired at the lowest cost possible. So our team basically operates a program pretty much at cost to help you all get hired. But no, we don't do anything that's there. So that's the way you could do it. You could learn it in our course, or you could take that other training and get there. Either way, you're going to get there. It's just the cost and the time frame. But you can get there either way. We never made our system secret. We tell you what we do in every webinar.
Yes, we do. We got to protect it at all costs. This is tantamount to a national treasure here.
Thank you.
Manny, thank you for the update of the forecast for the cloud environment for the future to come. You are welcome, Manny. We want to make sure that everyone is prepared. We don't want anyone to react. We want everyone to be in a plan and in an already knowledgeable state so that they can act, not react to what's going on in the economy. And that's how we prepare our students here. Next Smarty Live. Sir, are you suggesting me for solution architecture? I blindly trust you in following you. So, sir, you suggest me for which role I should pursue. Next Marty, first of all, don't blindly trust anyone, okay? We are here to help you, but we're not here to steer the decisions in your life. We want to know, what do you want to do, X Marty? What do you see and foresee for yourself? How are we, and if that's as a cloud architect, we want to help you. We want to leverage everything that you've learned prior to use as a foundation for your cloud architect career. However, we're not able to suggest how to decide on the future for your life. We want to provide you with everything you need, but that is something that you have to figure out for yourself so that we're able to provide you with the tools to become your best cloud architect that you could ever possibly have for yourself.
Exactly. And I'll add a little bit to it. I happen to love the solution architect role because I've been an engineer and I've been an architect. And as an engineer, you're literally like the person they put in the corner and they say, work, work, work. And as the architect, you get paid twice as much to have an easier life. But that's me. But it's, what do you want to do? I'm happier giving a presentation and selling something and designing something than I am coding or configuring.
Manny, optimally, how many hours a day should a student dedicate to streamlining the cloud architect course? I understand it contains 500 hours of video content. Well, Manny, again, we know what it's required, but however, this is all about self-paced. This is all about how are you able to retain this information, and how are you, what is your social life like? Are you married with kids? Do you have a demanding existing career? Are there family members to take care of? There are external factors that we're not aware of how you're able to better drive the hours of your day. How many hours are you able to commit? How passionate are you about doing the work? If you're not able to do this work all at once, are you able to schedule out some time on your off days, your off hours, where you're able to dedicate towards this? It's all about what you're able to do. So as we share with our students, although the average time maybe about 16 weeks before you're able to successfully navigate the course, we give everyone upwards to a year to access our content. We know life gets in the way. We know, especially with the economy, we know that things come up, but we want to be able to share with you that it's up to you about how you're able to commit to the course. But we're also able to share with you that we don't kick anyone out of the program either. So again, to underscore, 16 weeks is the usual time, but it's up to you as to how long you can dedicate time to the course.
And before we go to the next one, it's pretty important that we're not going to throw 500 hours of video content in you and just ask you to watch videos. That's not training. We're going to have live training 3 times per week on Zoom so we can interact together and we can make you better. We're going to have a lot of projects for you to do. We're going to have presentations for you to do, business cases for you to do, architectures for you to do. You're even going to design and build your own cloud. So there's never going to be a point where you're just watching videos. We'll leave that nonsense for the certification providers. That's why we have to retrain their people every single day, and their people can't get hired.
Okay.
But, for us, it's really about making sure you do everything that's necessary to get hired.
Agata, can I combine both cloud architect and cloud DevOps? Nope. Let's be honest. Let's be real. No, you cannot. You either you train to be either you train to be a submarine pilot or you train to be a fighter pilot in the cloud. You cannot do both. So we're trying to get you to understand that you're not going to be able to compile and have the best of both worlds to be this unicorn. Actually, it's going to hurt your career. So I would say focus explicitly on becoming a cloud architect.
And the reason this is so critical, as an architect, we design a solution to improve a customer's business performance. As a DevOps engineer, they're a coder. Now, you can't fly an airplane. You can't fly an airplane and keep the patients in their seats at the same time. To put it into context, I come from internal medicine. You know what a doctor does? They interact with a patient. They ask about their goals and they build the treatment plan. Now, if I send my patients to the nurse as an internal medicine person, the people and the nurses in the hospital take care of them, but they don't build the plan. So you can't be in 2 places at once. Engineering and architectures aren't even related. They shouldn't even be listed in the same universe. An architect focuses on the business, the engineer focuses on the tech.
Hello, guys. Mike, I would like to see you doing a boot camp about cloud network and some real case scenarios of network architectures, maybe. Well,
we do that in our Cloud Architect Career Development Program. That's what we do in our paid training. I'm one of the original Cisco certified internet experts back when it was a 2-day exam before Cisco made it an easy exam. My number is 7417, and we don't have a single environment, a single use case where we don't get involved into heavy cloud network architectures, because you can't be a cloud architect if you don't understand network architecture. So we do that. That's the point of what we do on our YouTube channel is provide free certification training, because I don't think anybody should ever pay for certification training. But teaching you how to be an architect, that's what we do in our Cloud Architect Career Development Program.
And also, everyone, we'd like to make sure that in the interest of keeping Mike healthy and secure, we will be answering questions only for the next 10 minutes. So we want to make sure we meet everyone's request. So we will be going through them expeditiously. Igor IKS, hi, do you recommend some book about sales and soft skills?
I've read at least 100 books on sales and at least 100 books on soft skills. Igor, there's not any one book that's going to help you with this. This is going to be a lifelong practice. That's why I have a $250,000 education on these things. So now you're going to need good training on something like this, and you can get it from us, or you can get it from like Goldman. You can spend a couple $1,000s for the week, and they'll teach you how to a little bit about soft skills, and then you can take a second class and a third class. But this is not something you're going to read in a book, because in a book they don't teach you how to have interactive dialogue, how to read somebody's body language, how to manage your emotions and manage their emotions. This is way deeper than that. That's why you can't learn how to become a doctor out of a book either.
Safane, is there any way to gain some cloud architect work experience on a freelance or consultant basis? I'm transitioning from a customer success plus product lead role. Mike, would you like to take this? I didn't think you're right.
Here's the thing. Here, go design my bank. You've never done anything before. You're not trained, but here, design my bank. The bank's going to go bankrupt. So no, Sophia, we can never hire someone on a freelance basis unless they have years of competency and experience. Never.
We also have a LinkedIn post about that, and it's akin to how to become a parachute instructor learning on the job. That's one job where you cannot make any mistakes, if you get my meaning. So it's the same thing here. Kovakov, how long is the program? Are you specifying time frame? Are you specifying actual costs? I'm not exactly sure. However, the usual time is 16 weeks, the average time of completion for successful results. But the cost is $9.99. But usually, sometimes we actually have maybe a coupon code where we're able to share increased discounts as well.
So I think we have one for 10% now, right?
I believe we do.
So that would make it $900. We will be raising the price coming very soon. But we're trying to keep the lowest cost that we have now for as long as possible. We won't be able to maintain this low pricing for long.
No,
prices have to go up. It's cost us a lot more with the systems we need, the people we need. So there will be a substantial increase in price coming soon.
Taku, I'm based in Africa, and which cloud career is good for me for taking in consideration my present location, cloud architect or cloud engineer? Cloud architect, number one. We had just specified why cloud engineering, that career is not exactly sustainable, especially in this economic situation that we're in. Taku, it doesn't matter where you are. We've had people from India, Africa, UK. It doesn't matter where you are. It's all about your competency and being able to showcase that to the hiring manager, because believe me, the more you're able to showcase your competency, the more valuable you are, and the more opportunity that you will get in companies. When they want someone, they will make all concessions to get you. So it doesn't matter about your location.
And that's true. But Teko, I think we're going to see some migration of cloud engineering positions to Africa. And here's the reason. We've got a very educated workforce in Africa. We've got a highly motivated population in Africa. And as they lay off in America, the UK, and all these other things, I see them hiring engineers in Africa, India, and Pakistan. Africa's got an incredible workforce of highly motivated, incredible people that really want to work. We have 2 employees in Africa right now, in Cameroon. And I see a lot of the engineering migrating towards Africa. But the thing is, you can be whatever you want. You can be an architect, you can be an engineer. Both options are good for you. But in the US or UK or Canada, I wouldn't want to be training to be an engineer right now.
Okay, what certificates are required for cloud architect? Competency over certifications. You can get 100, you can get tons of certifications. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we don't train people to be what we call paper tigers and having 10s and 12s and a stack full of certifications. But if you're not able to showcase your competency on this architecture, be able to share what the tech is needed outside of cloud service providers and native structuring, then you're not going to be able to show and share any of this knowledge as a hiring manager. They will reject your application and what we call giving you a cookie to get you out of the door, because you're not able to showcase what you have versus you're showcasing the certification knowledge versus what real world competency is needed to actually get the job.
And here's the thing. There's why no certification will ever get you a job as an architect, ever. What the cloud architect does is designs, presents, and sell a solution. And we can't use the stupid names that are in the certifications that they teach us. We design, present, and sell. Now, the certification is here's the name of the service, and here's how to configure that service. Now, architects don't configure. So it's no certification is ever going to get you any cloud job. Please keep that in the back of your mind. Each cloud job is going to require the right training.
Mohammed, is it too late to start a career in IT or be a cloud architect when you're in your late 40s? Does age work against you when you're trying to get hired by a company as a solution architect?
I'll
Mohammed,
take this.
okay.
So, Mohammed, it's much easier to get you hired if you're 50 than it is if you're 20. When it comes to architecture, people want someone with some wisdom and experience. Now, I've gotten 18-year-olds and 20-year-olds hired, but it's tough. It's much easier for me to get a 50-year-old hired. Now, Bob Welch was 61 the other day. He asked me if he could get hired. He just got hired for a beautiful job. That same day, Sig Wolf got hired. It's much easier to get you hired in your 40s than it is if you're in your 20s. But we can still make that happen too, even if you're 20s.
Alexander, it's good to see you, man. How can you convince recruiters that you are competent enough to overcome the 4 to 6 year experience requirements? Recruiters are telling me that hiring managers are getting very picky now.
Alex, I know you, and you got a lot of strengths. We're still getting people hired even with zero experience. But I will tell you one thing. When you speak to them, you must look more confident. If you don't look confident, they're not going to be confident pitching you to their people. So at least work on your confidence. And we may need to tube the message. We may have too much software development on your resume. And we may have to migrate some of that stuff off. But we're still getting hires. In fact, we got somebody that we trained for in our engineering program. And I was so worried about him in the engineering program. I made him do a lot of extra soft skills and communication skills and leadership training. And I just spoke to his hiring manager the other day regarding what do you call it? His hiring manager asked me for an employee recommendation, and I gave him a wonderful recommendation. And he's never worked in technology before in his life either. So they're still coming in. But work on your outward appearance of confidence, because internally you may be confident, but when you speak, Alex, and I know you well, it doesn't shine. Your external confidence and make the world see how good you are.
I want to make sure I'm saying this correctly. Iguano. If I'm not, please let me know, but I tried my best, sir. Hey, sir, is GCP enough to work as a cloud engineer, or do I need knowledge as AWS and Azure?
Even if you know all those, it's still not enough to work as a cloud engineer, because what a cloud engineer is builds the systems, which means you need to know how to work with Linux. You need to know infrastructure as code like Terraform. You need to be able to write a Python script. So the key is you need to know far more to be an engineer as to having what's in all 30 of these certifications. That doesn't even scratch the surface. So now if you've been an engineer on Google, meaning you were deploying Linux machines and web servers on them and writing Python scripts on Google and launching infrastructure as code on Google, then sure, that will be enough. But we're not talking certifications.
Well, I think that's all the time that we have for today, everyone. We want to definitely say we appreciate your time and coming in here with us, asking us your questions. And I want to share and take it over, or rather hand off the baton to Chris.
Oh, God, you guys make me pull my hair out.
There's so much knowledge to share.
Too much information.
And I want to address Amari's question before we do that. Amari asked about infrastructure. Yes, all of our students know how to become cloud infrastructure architects through our program.
Okay, so I'm going to mute you, Mike. All right, so if anybody wants to have any idea how hard it is to keep Mike under control, you're more than welcome to join me behind the scenes on the next one of these.
That'll be a good internship right there.
Oh, yeah, that would be a great internship. But yeah, so normally we do these a little bit longer, but we're having to do them in a more concise manner right now, just to try to keep Mike's vocal strain under control, because we can only control so much of Mike's talking. So yeah, I will control it when I'm able to control it, but when he's off of YouTube, I can't control it. So hopefully he's not on the phone with anybody. Alonzo, all the phone calls to you.
Phone calls. I will, as everyone says, I'll take all the smoke.
Yeah. All right. So before we wrap up, I just want to remind y'all of our webinar this Thursday. If you've got any questions about cloud architect careers, cloud architect preparation, training, development, make sure to join our our free How to Get Your First Cloud Job webinar on Thursday. And we'll make sure to address any of those questions for you. You'll want to register at the link in the chat box and in the description because it will not be here on YouTube. So you'll want to register for that so that you can join us on the webinar platform. Next thing, I need to go find this link. We've got a special show for you tomorrow night on Head in the Clouds. If you watched our Head in the Clouds show over the summer, you saw our show with Delroy Batt when he was cloud hired at CDW. So Delroy Batt will actually be joining us again tomorrow for a cloud career check-in. He's now been on the job for about 4 months there, I think.
Yep.
So make sure you join us for that. Set a reminder. Putting the link here in the chat box now. Set a reminder for tomorrow's Head in the Clouds. So that'll be an excellent opportunity to hear from a working cloud architect who came through our program, to learn about what they're doing, what it's really like on the job, what their experience was like with us, and how that helped prepare them for their role. So I wanted to remind you of those two things. Be on the lookout. We'll probably be doing another one of these soon. But of course, you can definitely catch us on the webinar on Thursday. We look forward to seeing you and hearing from you. So any last words, Mike or Alonso?
Well, again, it's always good to be here with you gentlemen, be able to answer questions, be able to help people move forward with their best cloud career decision making, and being able to just help. And I just love the energy here. I love what we do here, and I'm hoping everyone will join us tomorrow for Head in the Clouds. Mike, you're on mute.
I muted you, Mike.
I just want to let all of you know that any one of us, regardless of the times, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the economy, we can all achieve our dreams, every last one of us. It doesn't matter what the obstacle is thrown our way, we can still get there. So figure out what you want to do, build your best plan to get there, work that plan until you win, and never quit it until you win. If you'd love to be a cloud architect or a solution architect, we can help you, we'll help you, and have helped countless others. And that's all we do. We focus on building the most elite careers. So go for it, go after your dreams. And I look forward to seeing you in another question and answer session or the How to Get Your First Job webinar on Thursday this week. Take care.